Yo, bruh. hey,
Yo, yo, yo.
hey, man. What was Michael Jackson known for?
Thriller.
Hey, man. What was DMX known for?
Get at me, dog.
You already know what it is. Hey, it's your boy Tree from Bird in the Tree podcast.
Damn, your son. You know the one.
Hey, man. How you feeling, bruh?
Shout out to all those. I'm cool, man. How about yourself?
Hey, man. Running around like a chicken with my head cut off. You know how the old folks say?
Yeah. I've been let down since my boy made his transition, but it's still beautiful.
I feel you, bro. I feel you, man. Hey, man, we can go ahead and jump into things, man. Let these folks know what we talking about tonight, man.
Well, in lieu of all that's been going on lately, man, we was gonna try to really dig deep, man, in the inner chambers of the subconscious of the audience.
Okay.
We wanted to look at legacy. What will they say when you're gone? What will people have to say about you? Good, bad, whatever. What are you gonna leave behind? What's your legacy?
Hey, that's tough there, bro.
No doubt, bro.
That's tough, man. I mean, and a lot of our, elders and, people that are gone, always, definitely my grandfather, it was one thing with him, he always told me, before he passed away, he was like, hey, look, man, he was like, you want to build a name for yourself. Of course, your last name is Roundtree. Everybody know that, but what are you going to be known for? What is your purpose? When you're dead and gone, what would they say about you? And see, with my grandfather, it was one of those things where he was like, he was always in the neighborhood fixing stuff. I don't care what it is. You take it over to the crib. I mean, honestly, I don't care what it is. And he'll fix it, He had the tractors. So he was always in people's fields and, doing what he had to do, dissing fields and planting and all kinds of stuff like that, And then on top of that, he was a phenomenal minister. It's so many things, when it comes to my grandfather, he was very important to me because he taught me so much. And, he always said, he was like, look, Paps, because that was my nickname.
No doubt.
Make sure, right? Make sure you leave something behind. Make sure people know who you are. You make sure that you leave a legacy, man. And that always stuck with me. You know?
No doubt, man. I think a great example, man. We don't even know how deep that runs sometimes because I look at somebody like Richard Kerr. Man, R.I.P. man. God bless his soul.
Right.
One of the greatest, had one of the longest tenures Dr. Kerr did in that area as a preacher, pastor.
Right.
But what people will often forget, this dude actually gave birth to over 30 some ministers, right? So I always look at just how, that old expression, the apple don't fall far from the tree.
Right.
But one thing I will tell you is this. If you look at him, those 30 individuals that are doing what they're doing, not only those 30 individuals that he gave birth to, but the 30 people that actually had influence in the area because of him. And then guess what? The people they gave birth to, it's still people to this day, this man is dead and gone, that still call Drum Hill a little hamlet.
Right.
And the funny part about it, I heard even some young individuals saying it and they don't even know where it came from. but that's what I'm talking about, man. When you talk about a legacy, bro, you have an influence that most people won't even appreciate. And to the point that it's so amazing, man, when you talk about what would they say about you, yo, I think I'm gonna use somebody real quick, man, that is so crazy, man. I love sports, as you can see. Let me let them get a glimpse. Yo, let me let you feel this real quick.
Who that, bro?
Yo, if you don't even know, you better ask somebody, bro. But look, this is what I want to give you, man. I look at somebody like Shaquille O'Neal, right?
Okay.
And that's really what I would love to be able to do.
Right.
When I'm dead and gone. And when I say that, when I say he made a mark, literally, the dude literally made a mark, right? So there's now a position on the court, and it's a mark there. What they call this thing a 3-second violation. where you can't stand there longer than 3 seconds or it's a violation. It's a actual mark there. You know that for yourself on the court. Man, some men talk about leaving a mark behind. This man left a physical mark on the basketball court, right? And guess what? That's where this rule is implemented because he was so dominant. We had to just come up with something. So, hey, bro, it's no way you can even guard this dude. So we got to get this little thing called the restricted area.
Yep.
Right? Yep. Man, when you start talking about the influence that somebody has, always look at this type of legacy, bro. Anybody that comes on that court, whether they know it or not, whether they know who Shaq, Shaquille, Superman, Diesel, all this good stuff we call him is, one thing they will know, there is a restricted area.
Right.
And that's what I just look at with legacy, man. I want to leave a mark behind where, bro, you don't got to know my name, just know the story.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You could just participate in the animations of what we leave behind and then become a byproduct of that success. And man, guess what? It's people to this day that don't know that there are a lot of things they do that have an influence from somebody that you don't know, somebody that you never met, somebody that sometimes we forget. But once you start researching and you see some of the simplest things in the world, man, what a legacy, bro, when you really find out that there really was a guy that was so dominant, the only player in NBA history, bro. And you know, I'm Jordan till I rot, bro. But my point being, and that's no disrespect to LBJ. You know, I like LeBron. He's, you know, he does what he does. But when they talk about just pure dominance, bro, do you realize we actually had to come up with a rule? We had to actually say, you can't stand right here on a basketball court longer than 3 seconds. Because tell me somebody else that dominant, bro.
It wasn't, man.
And that's what I'm saying. You can't even think of nobody that have been able to influence it. Bro, when you talk about a legacy, when people talk about game changers, all this flopping, all this stuff is a byproduct of what? That restricted area. A place where, guess what? We just had to say, look, man, we can't guard this dude. You got 3 seconds, man. You got to get out of there. But you want to talk about a legacy? Watch this. Can you imagine if that rule was never implemented? Let's imagine crazy, now he could just run down the court, the most powerful locomotive you've ever seen, and just dunk every single play.
Yeah.
Bro,
somebody could guard it.
That's legacy, bro. Now you would say, well, why would you even use that type of parallel? I look at something like this, bro. Dr. King talked about hewing out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. Now, why is that important? Right there in Atlanta, Georgia, there's a mountain called Stone Mountain.
Stone Mountain.
I think you've been on top of that mountain. I know I've been on top of that mountain, right? I would never forget something though, bro. My dad took a stone from that mountain and he had it in his ministry. I mean, for years, bro, to the point that when somebody would talk about a legacy, man, look, people would come in the office. Pastor, what you got that big old stupid rock up there for? Right? But it's crazy, bro. When I tell you it's crazy, it's biblical. Because look, if you go back and research Joshua, man, not to get too biblical, but let me just give you a little bit of this. When you go and look at Joshua, in the book of Joshua, God told the children of Israel to take 12 men, 12 patriarchs, and I want them to go into the sea, that Red Sea, and get 12 stones. And I want you to pull 12 stones, each stone representing one of the 12 tribes, right? And he says, I want you to keep it as a memorial because there's going to be a day where your children's children is going to come and ask, man, what's the meaning of this stupid stone here? He said, and it's then you'll tell them it was right here on this spot where God parted the Red Sea for us. God parted the Jordan River just like he did the Red Sea. You want to talk about a legacy, bro? Do you know a stone can be a legacy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah, man.
Man, look, that is beyond crazy. When the last time I went to Israel, what I did when we went down to Jericho and my home church, shout out Reverend Somerville, Palm Tree Baptist, you know how we do in the country.
Of course.
Wellerville, Virginia. I bought them back a stone from Jericho. out of the historical rubble of the site where we believe the walls came tumbling down.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? They kind of made a little memorial, enshrined it. And don't you know, man, that as people come to church and they'll look sometime in his office, man, what you got there, Real? What is that? What you got that rock up there for? And don't even know the biblical history behind the legacy of a stone, bro.
Right.
Yo, man, we got people in our family, our community in Gates, North Carolina, that have been the bedrock of that area. Mm-hmm. Right? And they have left a legacy behind so easy that it paved the way for people to walk in places that they won't even invited in, bro.
Hey, man, speaking of that, I'm glad you said that.
You know
now, this is something, bro, that and you probably don't even know this just because, honestly, I just found out probably a month or two ago. I was back home. Again, you know, shout out to Gates County. And I was actually talking to one of my cousins. Shout out to cousin Buddy.
Yeah.
With the red Corvette. Speaking of him, and that red Corvette he got, bro. Oh my goodness, dog. Anyway, so he came over to the house and it was him, my dad, and me. We was just outside talking. And I had I think it was like a great grandfather, but his name was Loney.
Okay.
Loney Roundtree.
Wow. So, never knew that.
Yeah. So, you know, we got the old barns behind the house that, you know, back then they had livestock in, you know, they would dry tobacco in. I mean, pigs, everything, you know.
Come on, bro.
Behind my parents' house. So those barns are still there. And
yes, sir.
He told me, he said, hey, man, he was like, you know, your Uncle Loney owned all this land around here. And I was like, well, yeah, I know this land that my parents own, the land that my grandma's own, the land in between my parents and my grandma's house. Yeah, I know that. He was like, nah. He was like, you ain't understanding what I'm saying. He told me that he owned a lot of land. And when I say a lot of land, I'm saying like acres beyond acres of land.
No doubt.
Now, the thing is, he told me, he said, now, with your uncle, well, he called him Uncle Loney. He said, he had so much money and so much land. Now, this is back then the day when, you know.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
We want too light, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So
healthy.
And to tell you how this worked, when he would go in the bank, they wouldn't call him Mister.
Oh, no.
They call him Uncle. Yep. Because, you know, he was black. So, you know, they ain't gonna call him Mister because he don't deserve that title.
They have no identity.
But exactly. But at the same time, I mean, he had all this money. Of course, everything was legal. You know, he had all the land. So technically, nobody could really do anything about it, if that makes sense, you know? So he was respected, but he was respected more so in the black community.
Oh, yeah.
What he did. It would be times, from what I was told, that he would just kind of like, oh, you need this land right here, Junior? All right, cool. I got you. It's yours.
Sure.
You take it. It's mine anyway. You take it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you need this, you need that. I got it. So he was one of the wealthy black men in the community back in that day. Now, I didn't know anything about that at all. I would often hear my grandfather, you know, say little stuff about him here and there about, you know, owning land, but I didn't know the whole story. Mm-hmm. And I started thinking, and I was like, you know, first of all, just like you said, you got people right in the community that obviously, you know, I wouldn't have known about. Neither one of us was born back then, but at the same time, they left that legacy because we still have land.
Yeah.
We still, you know, that comes from that. We still got those barns back there that has been there for years upon years.
Historical sites, bro.
Historical sites, sentimental value. You know, I mean, you could still go in those barns now and find some of the stuff that they had back then.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's one of those things, man. A lot of people don't realize the type of history that they got. Mm-hmm. Now I'm sitting here 35, be 36 next month. And I never knew anything about that. I never knew I had somebody in my family that had or left that type of legacy. Again, I know we had land. I get that. but I didn't understand how much land we had. You know what I'm saying, at the time.
And it's
so
crazy,
man, it's just
bro.
one of those things, man. It's just wow, you know.
And just the way that worked, man. You know, after a certain amount of time, man, those barns become such a historical site. One reason why we in our community will leave these things erected,
right,
is because that will not allow the state to come in and take that property because it's considered a historical site. If you think that's crazy, you talk about a legacy. If you go to Elizabeth City, right out there where they did all that building and all this development, and you go out there near where the Walmart is, you'll see it's just vast acres of land, right? The guy that actually, I forget his name, that owned that area, that let them put Walmart and that little, you know, shopping center and all that good stuff up there. He owned all that land, right? Well, what's amazing, you'll see a little shack on that land.
Okay.
It's like a long stretch of land. You're like, man, why they on tethered old ugly shack now? Well, again, as long as that thing is up, it is a historical site and the state can't take that away from him.
Right.
That's crazy, bro.
Right.
So you talk about a legacy, man. Just think about this. Think about the guy that built that barn.
Right.
Who would have ever known 200 years later that he would have a legacy, not even known by name, but supplant something to where the state can't come in and snatch away from, you know, the individual, that land, that property, because they wanted it. Right. They wanted it so bad, you know, just to get that subdivision, all that good stuff up. But when you think about that, man, we're talking about some great men. There's definitely been some great, great women that did some things, man, legacy-wise, that just will blow your mind. But the big question that I want to pose, man, what are they going to say about you when that time comes, as the great theologian would say, when the bell tolls, that tolls for thee? What would that say at the curtain call? You know what I mean? That type of thing, man. You know, I've been burying people. It's crazy all year long, and that's a tough thing to do, right? Got to bury another individual, a great woman, come Sunday, which is just crazy because back in the day we wouldn't even have funerals on Sundays, but now death is just so, you know, predominant in the area. Bro, whenever you can bury him, you got to bury him. So it kind of is what it is. But I look back over the course of a life like that, bro. Now, like you said, you're gonna be 36, right? Well, this woman was faithfully married to an individual, bro, for 52 years. Kids, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great pillar in the community, wonderful at the church. All these other great everlasting things that will cement her as what's called a matriarch and a pillar in the community, right? Wow, man, we got books that, you know, to the top of the ceiling with people, legacies. We can name some of these people, man, great guys that in Gates, North Carolina, that fought in the Civil War. Bro, that pastored the church that I'm at. When churches in our area only met once a month, right? This guy named Henry Hayes, he pastored Joppa, he pastored Drum Hill for a short period of time, Lebanon Grove. And I actually have, bro, it's crazy. I got a marker at the church. Man, it's definitely, I don't know how old it is. You know, it would be good to get it carbon dated to see, but it's very old. And it's got him and 3 other pastors up there. You want to talk about a legacy and a history, bro? I take the age of that church where they used to meet under a tree before the building was there. Bro, they met underneath a tree. In the country, they call it a bush old tree. Whatever that means, that's where they met at.
Still don't know what it means, bro.
Y'all don't know what it means for nothing. But right, that's where they met at Head Church. Right? They got together enough money to purchase that land. Out of the 150 plus years that church has been there, here's a legacy for you. Bro, it's only been like 13 pastors. Out of 150 some years, it's only been like 30, and I'm the 13th one, right?
Right.
You know, my dad had a tenure of like 21 years. And here it is. You come to a church with that type of legacy, bro. Guys that fought in the Civil War, guys that laid the way, paved the way, bro. 13 in, one legacy you see in that area is a joint legacy that the people are faithful to whoever they commit to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I look at it, man. I asked again, yo, what they gonna say about you, bro? I look at my boy Earl Simmons. Even though some of the not so generous comments that were made, I'm gonna leave it like that because it kind of touched me to the heart about this brother. But one thing about him, yo, man, that ain't lemonade rolling down our face, homie. They tears, right? Look at the legacy that this brother leaves behind. And believe it or not, his legacy is his struggle.
It is.
But we look down on people in that sometimes, bro, your situation is the legacy.
That's facts.
Right? And people don't want to accept that, but sometimes your situation is the legacy. Why? No pressure, no diamond. We all realize that what? Boom, yo, we find out who you are in hot water.
That's right, man.
Yo, check this, man. I ain't gonna hold you, but look, this is a crazy story, right? So a great theologian puts it this way. You can get 3 different items, put them all in hot water, and get 3 different outcomes. Crazy. You take an egg, right? An egg is hard. You put it in hot water, guess what? It gets soft. You can take a vegetable. Guess what? You put it in hot water, even though it's soft, it gets hard. But you take coffee, put it in hot water, it'll flavor the house.
That's right.
So I look at the legacy that many people have an opportunity to leave behind in the midst of their situation, struggle, and everything they go through. Guess what? Some people, when they in it, they're like an egg, bro. Yeah, they real hard. When they go through, they get soft, cry the blues, go in a corner, whine and complain. Some people, bro, they get mean as hell in it. They're like that vegetable. They were soft-hearted, but now their heart been broken. They mean, but bro, I look at people like your grandfather, Henry Hayes, my father, so many of Abraham Saunders, some of the great patriarchs in that area.
That's fact.
Guess what, bro? You put them in hot water, they'll flavor the house, bro. You'll smell that coffee from miles away. Just what? Because their situation becomes the legacy.
That's right.
And I just think that, bro, again, what they gonna say when they scratch me out? When they say Junior was an egg, hard on the outside, but yo, we found out, bro, he lost his dad. Yo, you know what his legacy is? He got soft in hot water. Or where they say, you know what? Maybe, bro, his heart was so broken, even though he was a soft, kind-hearted, bro, he was like a vegetable. He became so evil and you know, egocentric, bro, he got hard. Or maybe, just maybe, somebody might end up saying, you know what? He lost his dad, he lost his father-in-law. He keep burying people every single day in 2021. But guess what? You put that boy in hot water, he'll flavor the house.
Oh, yeah.
I look at what we did in Gates County. That ain't no bragging, bro. Gates County came together in the middle of a pandemic/epidemic. And guess what? They put us in hot water, bro. Some said we were eggs. Shut their mouth. Some said it was too hard to do it. They were vegetables. Shut their mouth. But bro, there's a legacy in that picture behind you. That look, if I don't do anything, if you don't do anything, if Gates County never does anything else, they will discover that in 2020, we flavored the house, bro.
That's right. We was Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid.
That cool, refreshing drink.
But yeah, you already know, man. Hey, again, dropping nuggets, dropping hot topics. We do what we do.
Healthy.
Make sure that when you're gone, that you leave a legacy. And whatever that legacy may be, make sure that it's out there inspiring others. Because good or bad, it's going to inspire somebody else, regardless. It's either going to inspire somebody to say, you know what, that's exactly what I want to do. Oh no, that you know, that's really motivated me. Or it's going to say, you know what, I want to make sure I'm not going to go down that path, so I won't end up like this or that. You know, regardless of whatever you do, make sure you leave a legacy. And at the end of the day, what will people say when you're gone? Until next time, we gonna holler at y'all. Y'all be easy. Y'all be safe.
Yo.
I'm gonna go in and say it like this, man. To my African American men, y'all make sure y'all be safe out there. As we see on the news right now, it's getting real crazy again. It's starting to pick back up for some reason or another. But anyway, just be safe, just be smart. Y'all make sure y'all do the right thing. We'll holler at y'all next time.
Easy.